Welcome to Homework Lib.
We have two distributions here, one for the domestic load factor, one for the international load factor. They both have the same kind of shape. For the domestic load factor, it looks kind of like this. For the international, similar but not as spread out. Like that. So how would we describe these? First of all, let's describe the shape. Both of these are left skewed. Left skew is where most of the values are on the higher end, and then there's this tail coming down to the left. That's as opposed to right skew, which would just be most values are small and then there's a right tail, or symmetric, where the tails are roughly the same, or uniform, which is where every value is equally likely. It just looks like a rectangle. So they're both left skewed. So we're told the lowest international value might be an outlier. How you would check that is you would get the interquartile range and multiply it by 1.5. So here, the interquartile range for the international load factor is 5.79. Multiply that by 1.5, that's 8.685. So if something is more than 1.5 of the interquartile range, below the first quartile, it would be an outlier. We've not been given the quartiles here, but you can see that the lowest value looks to be about 65. It's believable that that is more than 8.7 below the first quartile. Okay, and what else do we have? The medians. So the medians are 81.5 and 79.3. Those are reasonably close together. They're not exactly the same, but they are reasonably close. So similar medians. If we look at the means, we see they are pretty close as well. So similar means, similar medians, but different standard deviations and different interquartile ranges. The interquartile range for the international load factor is much lower than that for the domestic, which, looking at the histograms, makes sense. The domestic is more varied. Both standard deviation and IQR, interquartile range, are measures of variation. So, yeah, if your data is more spread out, then those are going to be higher as well. So in this case, the domestic load factor is more variable because its measures of dispersion are higher. So option B is going to be correct here. It meets all of the answers. They're unimodal, that means they have a single peak, which is true. They both have a single peak. They are skewed to the left. The lowest international value might be an outlier. Medians are similar, and the domestic load factors vary a little bit more.